My learning has been changed during COVID-19 by learning everything online now. So how this works is that my lecturer would upload a tutorial onto a platform called Google Classroom, and once the set class hours are over, we would have to upload back our finished tutorial and she would check if our answers are right or wrong. So if we have any further questions, we could always email our lecturer, or we could also set a Google Meet with them. So this is where we have a face-to-face session where we ask any questions and they will answer us back.
Okay. So the difference now is that everything is online based, meaning that we do our assignment submission online, we do presentation online, and our final exam is also online. So it is a bit awkward at first because we are so used to face-to-face interactions with the lecturers, but now that we do it almost every single day, we are all getting used to it.
So one of the biggest struggles I faced during this outbreak is that I was supposed to study overseas this year, but because of the outbreak, I decided to come home early. And now that we have online classes, it's difficult to work out the timing because in Wales, they're 7 hours behind. So saying they have early morning classes, it would be almost midnight, or it would interfere with our buka time. So yeah, that's one of the biggest struggles that I face right now.
I am transitioning to e-learning pretty badly because I do advertising, and it's a lot of discussion, and it really helps when you're with a bunch of other creatives and you're all brainstorming together compared to on a Zoom call.
So my experience with e-learning for the past 2.5 months, it's been alright. I've been transitioning to it pretty well. The lectures, they're not so different from face-to-face. It's just through a computer screen. In terms of cons, I would say I kind of miss the physical interaction I have with my peers and my lecturers.
Well, it's not been entirely breezy, but it sure as hell has been eye-opening, because whoever thought that you would be one day sitting at home not going to classes but then facing your lecturers in front of a screen. So it sure has been a very exciting journey also at that, and I'm pretty much enjoying it.
I think one of the skills that I've learned during this whole lockdown is that video editing, because before I come here, or before the lockdown, I have zero knowledge or zero skills on video editing. So during this period, I did learn a lot about video editing. So
one of the new skills I've learned from lockdown is photography. I've learned a lot from taking pictures of flowers, the trees, the scenery around here, and my flatmates. I've learned a lot from framing to color grading to all that little details. And also videography. I've learned through the process of making videos through pre-production, production, and post-production.
I learned how to cook some Malaysian dishes, and I also improved my editing skills using Adobe Premiere Pro for my video projects.
Yes, honestly I do. As someone who's quite critical of himself, I do make sure I look at myself, what time do I wake up every day, and even if there's class, if I wake up a bit late than I should, then I would change my routine or how much energy I use the night before.
That would be a yes and no for me. Yes, because self-discipline is necessary right now when we're in quarantine, because nobody is around to actually watch what you're doing. But at the same time, I would say no, because self-motivation, it's a bit difficult, especially for me, myself, because when I'm stuck in my room, I don't feel motivated to actually continue doing what I'm doing. So yeah, it's a yes and no for me.
I guess by keeping in touch with my friends and spending my time more with my family.
I avoid myself from being alone as much as I can, and I try to avoid staying too much in my room, you know, because basically when we are alone, we tend to feel sometimes depressed or have anxiety. So I take the opportunity of this holiday to bond myself with my close ones, with my beloved ones, so that not just because not just so that I do not feel lonely, but also so that I create bond with them, so I get closer to them.
So the number one difficulty that I have at the moment would be self-discipline. So lecturers would post pre-recorded lectures or have live online classes all the time, which means that us students, we have to pay attention during these classes to make sure that we actually do gain knowledge. And the way I overcome these difficulties by making sure that I am active during these sessions. So I do it by asking questions and ask for clarifications if I need one from the lecturers. For me personally, I found that the first few weeks were the most difficult. This was because I was not used to online learning and I was more used to face-to-face lessons. So I took this first few weeks as a period of adjustment. I learned how to manage my time, and I learned how to spend time for online learning as well as time for my personal life. So that's how I managed to overcome it.
The way I've overcome that struggle is just basically sleeping a bit later, working out different sleep schedule, and also just keeping in touch with my friends that are still there and my teachers through email and text, you know, just to keep updated on what's going on so I don't miss out on it.
I wouldn't deny that I've had a lot of time to socialize with my friends. We video call, we chat, we play PUBG. So we interact in a lot of ways.
Question 2. So ever since this whole MCO thing started, my siblings and I, we've been cleaning out the house. We've been doing a lot of cleaning, especially to the outside, like the yards and stuff. And besides that, I've been on Discord almost every night with my friends. We'll just watch movies or play games.
I fill my time by learning other things that have to do with my hobby. I've also been spending my time by pushing forward with my little business online.
Well, to me, I think that the lockdown does provide me an opportunity to improve on my skills that I already have, and also an opportunity to build new skills like photography. I never done photography before, never quite specialized in it, but now, like through all this lockdown, I feel like I do gain some knowledge into the area, like just a bit.
Yes, I agree that this RMO has given everyone the opportunity to improve themselves. And being in quarantine for a long time and having to do the same things over and over again will eventually lead you to try new things, and maybe you'll pick up a new hobby that will keep you busy. And I believe that many have had invested their time into developing new skills or learning new things, and this pause, this whole reset from life was much needed.
Yes, definitely. I could just wake up 5 minutes right before class, look preppy, brush my teeth, and then get on to my class straight away.
I usually doing my own research and discuss with my siblings.
Did revision and take notes on the subject before what I learned before, or if I have a problem with it, if I have a problem about the subject that I haven't learned, I will asking my friends.
Usually what I do is that I go to Google Classroom and check for updates from the lecture, for example, from the slides that they have recorded. And I also ask my friends for updates and the notes from themselves. Also, the third thing that I do is that I do tutorial that have been given by the lecturer sometimes.
One of the biggest benefits of online learning, I think, is that during this social distancing time, it allows us to continue our studies, and so we don't have to stop everything just because we're in the situation.
Well, for me, I believe that online learning is really hands-on. What I mean by this is that because the lecturer gives us so many tutorials, we're forced to learn it on our own in a sort of way. Not that the lecturer is not available, it's more like you tend to try to do things for yourself before asking the lecturer, so you tend to do more research and you tend to understand the subject better compared to face-to-face learning.
The benefit of online learning to me would be the flexibility. I like that we can access to all the lectures and all the notes 24/7, which means that I can work according to my own schedule. And if I need clarification, I can always refer back to all the notes and the lectures that has been posted.
We've tried quite a few methods, but I think my favorite by far has to be Microsoft Teams because it's so efficient. It's a little complicated to get a hang of at the start, but once you get the hang of it, it's so useful.
I'd say that I'm very much more familiar with the app called Hangouts and Meet by Google, and that's because mainly it's by Google, and I'm very familiar with that platform since I use Google Drive to get done with my assignments. So I am it's very convenient and user friendly.
Right now, all my classes are on Google Classroom, which works really well for me because it gives me the ability to access all of my classes anytime, anywhere. I can either on desktop or on mobile. Besides that, most of my lecturers, I'm in communication with them through WhatsApp if I have any other particular questions. So yeah.
Yes, I do use platform like YouTube to search how do I color grade that, how do I edit this, how do I edit that, and I do use Instagram from time to time to gain inspiration on how do I want to shoot that, how do I want to shoot this flower.
For example, when it comes to editing my video project using this new software I downloaded, Premiere Pro, I had to check out video tutorials on YouTube pretty often. Or even when it comes to cooking and baking, you just need to type the name of the dish or dessert you want to try and follow the step-by-step videos on YouTube. That easy.
I would say that it is effective because it makes us working a bit more on the clock. We have things to do and we are getting far more input from the teachers, the lecturers, and even amongst ourselves. It is far more effective because it is a progressive change. It is a progressive stage. So it is a far more, we could say, effective way and also constructive in a sense, because we as students, we want to make sure that we get the input that we want, but also we want to learn something from it. And that is important.
I would say it could be because weekly assessments allow more progress, I believe, and one major assignment could lead more procrastination.
I make myself busy by doing so many things, such as I'm making dalgona coffee, I'm baking, and I do FaceTime with my friends. So I really being lonely because I have so many things to do.
By reading a lot of book that what I like, or something fun to read, or talking to your friend, or you can talk with your friends online, just like WhatsApp, Skype, Discord, or something. There are many ways you can connect with through major social, and don't forget about your family.
I also do read Quran and get myself together. Get myself closer to God. Sometimes, if I feel like I want to be in my room, I watch anime. I watch movies. And sometimes movies I watch with my family lah. and at the same time I watch funny stuff.
FCAM goes. FCAM goes.
FCAM goes.
FCAM goes.
Goes digital.
Goes digital. Goes digital.
And we don't.
We don't stop. We don't stop.
And we don't stop.